Guys, it's your girl Samantha, and today I wanted to talk about the attack on black single mothers. I love Cynthia G and Tanya TKO and the whole black woman sphere movement that's happening as far as telling black women to divest. I totally agree that black women should definitely look at all their options. But this whole notion of not giving birth to black boys is pretty hurtful, actually. Like, I get what they're saying, and I get that to really make a point, they probably had to be very absolute. But as a black mom to 5 black sons, who I wouldn't change them for the world, I'm not going to sit here and live with the regret of giving birth to black males. My goodness. Oh, no. And I think there's a lot of mothers out there who have a lot of children. I talked to one mom today who had 4. Another mom that called into Tanya TKO's show, she has 7. So what are we supposed to do? What should we feel if we agree with Cynthia G and other women like Nyla Says and Tanya TKO and I love Mahogany Pink? There's never anything out there for a message out there for us. Like, what if we want to divest because we've dated black men and we agree they suck? I didn't have a Cynthia G when I was 18 years old. Shit, I didn't even have YouTube when I was 18 years old. So a lot of stuff that the girls that are older, the black women who are older, that are younger, they know how to do their natural hair now. They have black women giving them advice on black males. They have a chance to learn so much more about black male pathology from Cynthia G and just the internet being more, giving them more information available at their fingertips. That black women like me, because I was born a few years earlier than them, I didn't get that same benefit of the doubt. I didn't get that same information. So I want to be the voice for black mothers who love their children. They're doing the best they can. Some of them are even doing really great by their kids. And we do want to not be in an old folks home when we get older. That's not something to be ashamed of. And I think it's interesting because Cynthia G and a lot of the females or women that talk with her, they will say, and I call people females. I know they say you're not supposed to do that. I don't follow manosphere. I'm not male worshiping or any of that. That's just what I call it sometimes. Call women sometimes. I'm a woman. Obviously, I'm a female too. So whatever. But like, everybody has their thing. It is what it is. And it's feeling like almost like a cult at this point. Like, if you dare to veer off and think a certain way, you're not going to be accepted. Black women are not a monolith. And from the black mothers I saw today that were talking on Tanya TKO's show, she had a really great topic about why the black community hates black children. I agree. Why do they hate black children? Because you have Tanya TKO on one end telling black women to not whoop their kids and love on your child, and you can't give them harsh discipline. But I don't think she has kids. And then you have Cynthia G on the other end saying, don't give birth to black boys. I'm not going to give birth to black boys. Black males are the devil. Don't do it. So it's like, okay, okay, so where's the middle ground for the women who agree that we need to consider more options than just black men when we're dating, but we're not really with the extreme of like, I'm supposed to dismiss my children who are already here because you said so, or because you think, I'm not supposed to discipline them when I'm the only parent in the house. Like, somebody has to speak the truth. Somebody has to be realistic here. And it feels like everyone is just going in line with these women because, yes, they are very intelligent. I'm a black woman. I know black women are killing it in the game. We're doing a damn thing. I have a master's degree. I'm a veteran, Army veteran. Like, I'm not soup sandwich, as we would say in the military. So I know that these women are educated. They're smart. They're entrepreneurs. They're brilliant. They're beautiful. I fall into that same category. I just happen to have children. And I don't regret. I always wanted to be a mom. Like, I never thought about being married. It wasn't something I aspired to do because when I was growing up in the 90s and the 80s, a lot of black women were single mothers already. They were the generation saying, the boomer generation saying, I don't need a man. I can do it by myself. So that's really kind of the mentality I grew up with, was to be very independent. Even with my father, he raised my sister and me to not rely on a man. So even he played a role in making sure his daughters will be self-sufficient and just basically women warriors in the jungle in this jungle called life, this game called life. So we are kicking ass. My sister and I are kicking ass in life compared to how they raised my brother when they just kind of let him do whatever. So it's like I totally agree with everything Cynthia G says, and Tanya TKO. Like, I like what a lot of things they say, but I get why they would tell people to stop having black boys, I guess, but I really don't agree with that. Just because I feel like just because there's black men that are trying to run into women's homes, not all black men are doing that. And I know we're not giving disclaimers anymore because it's like so 2010, but my sons are not raised to do that. And I actually feel very protected and safe because I have my black sons at home with me. I do not feel safe being in a house by myself. I don't have a gun like Cynthia G to protect myself because I have 5 black males in the house and an adult black male in the house with me. So I feel very safe because I have them in the house with me. My ex-fiance was a narcissistic bastard, so he was a hot mess, but I can't put a blanket statement across a whole black male group and say, oh my gosh, they're all the worst. So it's like, I wish they would, like, sometimes Cynthia G and the other ladies will say sometimes like a disclaimer, like, I know they do. I've heard them say it sometimes, like, maybe your family of men do not fall into this category, but we're talking about men that you're not related to. I can understand that more. And to tell black women not to have black boy babies, that's crazy. So are you telling them to abort their babies? Are you telling them not to have babies anymore? Are you telling them not to have babies with a good black man? And you have to go divest and go out. It's just too much extremes. It's like, one minute you're saying that black males are shaming single black mothers, but then on the other side, I feel like the black woman sphere is shaming single black mothers too. Like, nobody is for black children. It's really exactly what Tanya TKO's show was about today, was why does the black community hate black children? Why do they? And it's like, who's standing up for black kids? Who's going to stand up and say, I'm a mom, I have 5 boys, and they're black, they're not biracial, I didn't divest in time, so I wanted 5 black children, I seeked out black fathers for my kids, I wanted black children. Am I a dying breed? Am I the last of the Mohicans here? Like, the last woman that's like standing up for my black sons? I don't have black daughters. Honestly did not want any black daughters. I have my own personal trauma. My mother is a narcissist. My sister and I were treated like shit growing up with my mom. And I was terrified of having a daughter. And God gave me what he was meant to give me. I didn't abort any of my babies because they were girls. And I don't think it's right to make black women feel like you should be having abortions because they tell you you're having a boy. It's ludicrous. And it's kind of giving me cult vibes. Like, it's kind of getting a little bit extreme here. And so I feel like I had to make this video because I just listened to Cynthia G and she's talking about, I'm never going to have a black baby boy. And I'm like, well, for one, we don't even know if you're going to even have kids. I mean, you're getting up there in age. And I'm not trying to crap on anybody because I'm older than she is. But it's like, at some point, it's like, do you even want children? So for you to give out these statements, you're basically telling women to stay barren, just not have any kids. And I feel like that's not right. Because a lot of women listen to Cynthia G. A lot of women listen to Tanya TKO. These are very influential women. And I know if I'm following them, a lot of people are going to be following you guys. Because that's just how it is in the universe. For some reason, everybody likes what I like. I don't know how to explain it. But I can see something in these women, Nyla Says and Mahogany Pink. Like, I see something in these women that I know they have high influence on the black community, men and black women. And it's, to me, I really would like for them to kind of try to add a tone of black boys are okay. There's still a chance for them to change. Like, they're children. Because it's like, how can one minute you say, why does the black community hate black children? And then in the same breath say, I'm not going to have any black boys. So you hate black children then. That's what you're saying. You hate little black boys that have done nothing to you. They're still little. Their mothers are listening to you, so obviously we're trying to raise them right. We have a head, like if we didn't like you, we wouldn't be listening, or we'd be trolling or something stupid. We actually like, I love listening to Cynthia G, like, and Tanya TK and Nyla says, like, Mahogany Pink, and even conservative Pink Pill, I think her name is. I love listening to what you ladies have to say and your different perspectives, and I take what I need to take from it. And I tell my family already, even my children, I'm like, I probably will never be with another black man. I have my sons. I'm done having babies. I'm really content with my life right now. And my next husband will probably not be black. And for people to dismiss an entire group of black boys because of what black men have done is not right. And I tried to go along with Cynthia G's and the black woman. I tried to go along with their narrative just in this blanket way, but I always felt conflicted because I'm like, I still owe it to my sons to make a world better for them. And I don't know how I can make a world better when I'm not standing up for them. So this one says, evolving the single black mother narrative. Are you going to be a single mom? I was about 4 months pregnant when my goddaughter asked me this question as we walked through the park. I appreciated that she shared one of the many thoughts likely floating around her bright, curious mind. It was a reasonable inquiry reflecting a socially constructed story that she was trying to understand. My reply, I am not going to be a single mom. I am going to be an unmarried mom. That simple question required me to make a distinction not always made. I now feel that the lack of such a distinction is a disservice to everyone affected by it, including this young black girl who I affirm will grow into a woman with the power to direct the narrative for her future family. Words are the narrative. There are two major issues with the term single mom. First, the single in the description too often leaves our society to make huge assumptions about how parenting is or is not occurring. The census defines a single parent as one who is not currently living with a spouse, divorced, widowed, or never married. While most single parent households are led by women, the term single mom can create political and economic categories that disregard the complexity of relationships that fall between the socially constructed endpoints of single versus married. While single may better, though not always accurately, suit efforts to describe an unmarried woman, it is misleading as a term for parenting. In fact, as related to the act of actually parenting, what is the opposite of single? And this is a good question. Personally, it's like in the essence of parenting, what does my marital status have to do with it? I could be a co-parenting mother. I could be a single mother, meaning the father is just completely not in the picture. I could be a married mom, so I'm married, now I'm attached to someone, or I'm a cohabitating mom. So this article really lends itself to the ideology that single motherhood is also not a monolith. Like so many other things in our lives, single motherhood is just another one of those facets of life that's not two-dimensional. There's all kinds of different varying sides of it. You could be a lesbian and have another mother in the house, but you're not married, you're cohabitating. Your baby daddy could be living with you and could have been living with you the whole time. You guys are just life partners and you don't want to get married, but you're both very involved in the children's lives. Me, I actually live with my ex-husband right now, and my kid's father, my ex-fiance, is very involved in his children's lives as well. So I have two baby daddies, if you want to call it that, and they're both involved. So am I a single mom when I have two black fathers who are involved in their children's lives? I don't think I fit that narrative. And I find it really interesting when I'm filling out paperwork to try to describe who I am. You know, I'm like, am I divorced? Am I single? Am I a single mother when there's another person giving me child support? Like, it's just, there has to be, just like with race, there just has to be other options. So it says, if you're not quote unquote single parenting, what are you doing? Surely it isn't married parenting, as this term is no way related to a parenting behavior. Exactly. On the contrary, married women sometimes lament feeling like they are parenting alone. Hence, quote unquote single as a way of understanding parenting dynamics tells us very little. And that's very true. So it's like, just because I'm not married to my kid's father doesn't mean he's not more involved than if I was married to my kid's father. He could be completely unengaged, disengaged from the whole process, never home. So I actually found my ex-fiance became more involved when we weren't living together anymore than when we lived together. Explain that. So it's like our relationship status has nothing to do with the type of parents that we are. So unfortunately, there is limited language regularly used in the larger political and social culture to explain ways in which households are constructed and how unmarried parenting is occurring, particularly related to black parents. This is evidenced by a recent Pew Research Center report that categorized unmarried parents according to 1. Cohabitating dads, 2. Cohabitating moms, 3. Solo moms, and 4. Solo dads. In this instance, quote-unquote solo expands the notion of quote-unquote single to more broadly reference parents raising a child with no support, parent, or partner in the home. Versus the census, like for instance, I would not be considered a quote-unquote solo parent because my ex-husband lives with me. So we're still co-parenting. He's in the basement. I'm upstairs. Yes, it is not traditional, but it is what it is. It works for us. This is our family. Okay, so let me keep going. So they said the use of only these types of categories, single and solo, in nationally disseminated family-focused research can limit a comprehensive understanding of the complex ways in which black unmarried parents are raising children. Without intervention, these words, ideas, and messages can shape the way that women and men see themselves, their families, their communities, and possibly their futures, unintentionally facilitating the quote-unquote invisibility of black fathers. The second issue is that in American culture, black men need no assistance being made invisible. As referenced in the myth of the missing black father, black fathers are rarely depicted as deeply embedded within the family systems they help create. The greater their invisibility as fathers, the more problematic the reality for black families and the black community. The reality is that, relative to other ethnic groups, a disproportionately larger percentage of African American children, 69% according to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC data, are raised in single-parent homes that are largely run by black women. That is a fact. What is not a fact is that means absent fathers as larger culture, such as the 2013 Don Lemon's initial CNN commentary would have people believe. We cannot ignore the fact that some fathers are not present based on their own decisions. They simply may decide to not be involved during seasons or lifetimes. However, there are many fathers making a contribution to varying degrees. In fact, additional research from the CDC and other sources supports that black fathers are just as present, if not more present, than fathers from other racial backgrounds. While we should in no way submit to the notion that something is better than nothing, we can give voice and life to that something. In doing so, perhaps in time, what we focus on can grow. And I feel like for instance, when my parents got divorced, we actually had a better relationship with our father than when they lived together and were fighting all the time. So the shaming of the single black mom is beyond old. I'm kind of really over it. I'm not ashamed to name my situation. My children are healthy. They're well adjusted. They're extremely intelligent. What more could you possibly want? We live in a great area. It's the wealthiest area in the whole damn country for black families. I don't think we're doing badly. And there's a lot of black families in this area, a lot of black women heading the households, because if 72% of children are led by single black mothers, then a lot of them are going to be living in my community because it's predominantly black. So as indicated by the CDC data, a higher percentage of black women are more likely to be classified as single parents. Essentially, it would seem that if there is not a romantic, married, or cohabitating relationship, parents are single or solo in the parenting journey. And I want to do a side note. I think the only reason why cohabiting became something that they are including now is because white women's numbers of single parenthood are rising so drastically because of them, going outside. One, they're just not getting married. People are just over it. Marriage is like this ancient institution that people don't really even commit to fully, so why even bother? Two, they're dating black guys, and black guys have a real aversion to marriage. They don't want to get married. So it's like because the face of single motherhood went from black to white, now we have to suddenly include all these new terms that weren't available to single mothers who were also living with their kids' fathers. So, since the actual term single means only one, the idea perpetuated by this language leads to damaging assumptions that biological fathers are 100% missing from the parenting process. In this black and white dichotomy, there is little room for the range of kinship resources that can contribute to child rearing, including care providers such as grandparents, family friends, aunts and uncles. There may even other kids, siblings, even other siblings are helping. There may be even less room for the spectrum of ways, emotional, economic, logistical, spiritual, that fathers can contribute. This lack of attention and protection, we didn't add that. This lack of attention to the range of ways in which parenting occurs and various factors that impact the parenting process may contribute to why 66% of Americans surveyed in the Pew study believe that single women having children is bad for society. A solution: spectrum versus categories. Now, there's some single mothers are bad for society, but right now what's happening in Texas is they're basically forcing women to have babies. They passed a law where you can't have an abortion after you're like 6 weeks pregnant. Most women don't even know they're freaking pregnant at 6 weeks, or they're not sure, or whatever. If you are like forcing that on women and taking that option away, there's going to be a plethora, a huge increase of single mothers, because a lot of women just aren't buying into marriage, or they're not ready to get married when they might have gotten pregnant that first time. Because I did another research and found out that a lot of white women, if they're not married yet or they're still in college or whatever, they'll have an abortion. So what do you do when you take that off the table? Now what? And if you're saying they're not good for society, then what are you going to do? Force women to get married? What are we, in the 1930s? So we do not help ourselves by using categorical defaults. As black women, we have the right, the ability, and the responsibility to shape the narrative that will become our children's story, which ultimately extends to our community's story. If the term single accurately reflects a woman's parenting experience, then she should use it. However, let us not use the term simply because it is the only one available to us. If the goal is to determine a mother's marital status, the terms married and unmarried are sufficient and more specific. The reality is that black parents are engaged in parenting practices in ways that may be ignored in the single black mother narrative. And it's not even made, they are ignored. If we look across social class, there is research that many black women are actually sharing parenting responsibilities in deranged arrays with their quote-unquote baby daddy. However, there is a gap in our empirical knowledge here, given that most research involving black parents focuses on younger or lower social class families in which co-parenting may be limited for a variety of reasons. Insights from Heather Hobson, a black single mother, as additional perspective. I think people think that because you're single, it means you're raising children without fathers in their lives, and that's not often the case. More and more families are opting to co-parent. While co-parenting can be applied to a range of family structures, a large portion of the research links to marital, divorced, or kinship co-parenting relationships, and is less about co-parenting among biological, unmarried, or never married parents. When literature about black women parenting references single, the process of co-parenting between biological parents is not adequately representative across age and economic class. We can acknowledge that kinship care is a solid core value and resource among many families, while also highlighting the diverse ways in which black co-parenting occurs. We can give life to a myriad of possibilities. Black women and the power of our tongue. Every story is different, and there are some painfully complex stories out there that bind black mothers and fathers together. This essay is not intended to minimize those complexities, romanticize the black parenting experience, or impose a narrative on what it means to be parenting alone. Instead, this essay is a call to recognize, evaluate, and as applicable, reject the internalization of a narrative that has been placed upon black families versus one created by black families. Let us create space to breathe life into the things that deserve the chance to live. As such, black women are in a key position to challenge themselves to define their parenting experience in a dimensional versus categorical way. This can occur from a position of power and authenticity. As women, we shape much of a family's narrative. In doing so, we model for all of our children, particularly our girls, the use of a particular power that they will need in this world that aims to dim their light and tell them their future. Our challenge is to be mindful and intentional in the use of our words so that we can bring truth to life, strengthen understandings of the black family, and enhance opportunities for our children to thrive. And this is written by Christina M. Grange, an associate professor of psychology at Clayton State University. So that's what I wanted to talk about, guys, is stop shaming black single mothers. Whether you're a black male who is basically wallowing in self-hate, as Cynthia G would call it, and you hate yourself, so therefore you hate black women bringing black life into the world that looks like you, and he's male as well, oh my gosh, or gosh forbid another black female because you don't want to date black women. Give it a rest. It's not about you. And then if you're on the other side where you're in the black woman sphere and you're telling black women to not have black baby boys, like we have any control over that, that's up to God. You're basically telling women to have abortions if they're told that their gender is not the correct gender, quote unquote correct gender. That's just not acceptable in 2021, where people are allowed to be transgendered, cisgendered, transracial, trans whatever, biracial. People just getting to do whatever the hell they want to do, and you're telling black women basically to feel bad if they dare to have a black baby boy or already, and then what are you telling the mothers who already have black sons? And then you get Paris Milan, who goes as far, and I think there's other women, I want to say Lexus Exodus, who goes as far as to say that you're talking about my thuns. These women are forgetting, and yes, actually Lexus Exodus has a black son, but these women are forgetting that these are still our children. You may not like black males, just like black males don't like you. But that doesn't mean that there's somewhere you're not the mother of these kids. So in saying that, I guess I'll have to be the voice that's in the between, in the middle somehow, to let it be known, like, yes, I believe black women should divest. We are by far and wide ready for some fucking other options. Black males have failed us to the umpteenth power, and their treasonous, traitorous acts that just happened in the last couple of decades is the last straw. How much more can a good woman take? Everyone has a boundary. Everyone has a line that's drawn, and it's just like a breaking point where you say enough is enough. I'm not going to sit around waiting for a black male to grace me with his goddamn presence. But in this day and age where you can be in a mixed race family and people marry all the time in their 40s and their 50s, and they might have children from previous relationships and previous marriages, you can divest and still have children that you had from a previous marriage who are black, and he's going to probably have children who are white. Look at Eve with her husband. It is what it is. It's not over for you if you already have black children and you've realized you just feel like you want to date something else. That's your prerogative. That's the beauty of being an American. That's the beauty of being a human being. If you travel to Africa or Canada or Europe even, I lived there for 2 years, white guys love black women over there. If you travel and you meet someone, you fall in love, it is what it is. It's going to be the same thing as it always would be when you bring a new partner around your children, if you choose to. Me personally, I don't plan to date until my kids are much older for so many different reasons. But that goes for all races. I don't trust guys enough to be around my children who they're not their biological parents. You know, even biological fathers can be pedophiles or something. So me personally, I want to wait until my kids are older, probably even out of the house. Who knows? But if you already have kids who are older, they're in their teen years, or they're damn near out the house, or they stay with their dad a lot of the times because they're older now or whatever, do you, boo. Like, go out and be free and date and fall in love and just be happy and rest in your femininity, because you deserve it, black queens. You deserve that happiness. We deserve that. Enough of this making us feel guilty because we dare to have children, to love and nurture and raise. It is hard enough trying to raise our black children in this racist ass country without everybody from our own community telling us what we need to be doing. As far as you don't need to have them, or if you have them, you can't whip them. If you do this, you do this. Everybody's got to say, except the actual fucking parents. The black single mothers. We're the majority heading homes with these children that is the future of the black community in our homes, and we're the ones with no voice. Well, I'm going to be that voice, god damn it. I was never meant to follow like a sheep behind anybody, and I'm not going to start today. So there, I said it. I'm not a mammy. I'm not a pick-me. I am single, and I'm loving it. And I rest in my femininity all the time. I'm raising my sons to be men. We co-parent very successfully with their fathers. I don't try to be the father because I don't need to be. They have fathers who are successful and they have good jobs. They make good money. Whatever. They have such a hand down to their kids for their kids to inherit. I picked well. And black women, black mothers, know that you did the best you could too. We're all out here just doing the best we can. Nobody has a crystal ball. And black mothers already have a lot of guilt. We already have a lot of guilt because things didn't work out with the kid's father. Or, we wish we would have picked a better man who would be around. We don't need anybody else making us feel guilty, especially people who don't even have kids, who weren't even courageous enough to raise another human being. And you're sitting here making us feel like crap because we dared to do the most craziest thing in this world, because everybody seems to hate black kids. Everyone seems to hate black children. White people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and now our own black people. It's disgusting. And if no one's going to stand up for our children, by gosh, it will be me. It will be me. I have centered my whole life just to make sure I could be in my son's life. And if I have to be at that school every day volunteering or doing whatever just to be around my children more, I'll do it. If I have to join the school board, which is really what I want to do, become a school board member so I can have more say in CRT and a lot of things that are affecting our children's education system. It's enough. It's enough. There's nothing wrong with you, black woman. If you have children and you want to divest, go divest. Your love is still out there. He is out there somewhere. Still take the same precaution you would take if he was black or any other color. Like, a man is a man. He's either going to be a good man or he's going to be a shit man. So if you have to go through mahogany pink or some type of matchmaker or something to do a background check to vet this guy, do what you have to do. Make sure this guy treats you right and he loves you and he treats your children correctly. Be very protective of your kids. I don't plan on bringing anybody around my kids anytime soon. They're babies and they have a father. And even if I was to date, I would not be bringing him around my children. Why would he need to be around them? He could probably meet them once, but you're not moving in. You don't need to be around my kids like that. That's just me. That's just something I choose to do. Do what works for your situation. You may have older kids. You may not have the same concerns I have to have for my babies because they're toddlers and like 5 years old. I love you, ladies, and I just really wanted this video just had to happen. It just had to happen. I've been really thinking on this and praying on it and just trying to find the answer of how I can contribute my voice to the world and help others. I've always been told to do this, and I still am trying to find my way in this new vast world wide web. But I'm gonna get there, and I think I'm kind of finding my path. I still want to support women like Chrissy who love dark-skinned black women. And Lex's Exodus is so funny, and Paris Milan is always doing the best work ever to help black women who are missing or, just going through crazy situations. Cynthia G is doing the Lord's work in educating black women about how black men are dusty as crap. It's all get out. I love Tanya TKO. Her show is so positive. I love to dance with her at the end. And I love her lives. I love talking to everyone. And it's like this community of black mothers that I get to talk to today. It was really great. We're all doing God's work. We're all black women in our own right, and we're strong and we're intelligent. And we got this, ladies. It's not me against anyone else at all. We need each other. Every voice out there needs to be saying what they're saying right now. But my voice is needed too. Because I feel like I'm one of the few black single moms out there who's really enjoying motherhood and really happy and proud to speak about it. I'm not ashamed in any way, shape, or form. I know I've done the best I could for my children. I know I've made the best choices I could for my kids. And I know that, God damn it, I always wanted to be a mom. And that's just something I'm never going to apologize for. I don't want to be in an old folks home. I want to grow old with my grandkids and my sons, like my grandmother got to do into her later years. She got to live with her children and be around her grandkids, and that's life for me. You know, everybody's got a different outlook on what they want to do, and some people joke that we're having kids as a retirement plan. It's so funny. You'd be surprised where other races what they're having their kids for. You ever heard of anchor babies? People are having their kids so they could be freaking American citizens and help them get their citizenship. People are having kids because they need to work the farm. You know, it's like, to have a child, you have to be selfish. You have to want that child for whatever reason you want it for, as long as it's good and not illegal. But it's just got to be a selfish reason, especially nowadays, because we don't have farms anymore. So if you're having a child, what are you having them for? There's nothing better than being in this world and knowing you have purpose. My sons know, you better not put me in an old folks home. I will lose it. So, but no, my boys, they love me so much and I adore them. And I know they wouldn't do that to me anyway. They're very protective of their mommy. They've already told me, we're going to buy you a mansion, Mom. Which I told them, do not do that. Just put me in a granny pod in the backyard and I'll be okay. Which is AKA like a tiny home. I don't need to be a hindrance. And trust me, I'm good. My kids will not have to worry for nothing for me when I retire. So they're not my retirement plan. They're my family plan. I don't want to be left alone in my old age. I want my family and my children around me, my grandchildren around me. That's my dream. You know, everybody has their own different dream. And some people I feel like are projecting because they may be feeling like they're not going to get what they wanted, or they got to dismiss what they wanted, or for whatever reason. And they're trying to convince other people that this is the best way to go. And it's like, well, it might be best for you. But my dream hasn't changed. Like, I still want to grow old on my land, my farm, my big acreage of land that I purchased, and have my grands stay with me. And even my sons are living all over the country or the world. You know, I want my grands every summer. And I just, when I get too old to be in my house by myself, I'll go live with one of my children. And I pray that we all live near each other. They can build a home on my 10 acres and we could just all be there. The kids running through the fields. That's life for me. That's my happy place. So, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. But you guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for listening. And have a good night. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.